This meeting has been announced and advertised in compliance with the Open Public Meetings Law. Can we have a roll call, please?
President Jenny Lichtenwalder.
Here.
Vice President Liz Kursden.
Here.
Director Susan Callenton.
Here.
School Liaison Ellen Backert.
Here.
My friend Alex Balaban.
Here.
Former Mayor Joe DiArio. Matt Butler.
Here.
And Heavy. And more. All present and accounted for. Mayor.
Mayor's not here and Andrew's not here.
Yes, the mayor called, said he's going to Atlantic City for something.
You don't think us with it?
So,
Yeah.
we have enough people.
No, we're fine.
We're
Just,
good.
yeah.
Could have invited us to go with them.
We all rise for the flag salute, please.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Everybody should have had a copy of the minutes in their email
The new ones too.
this week. The new
I revised them, I sent them out.
revise the minutes.
The minutes. Not the minutes, I'm sorry.
The agenda.
The agenda.
Oh,
have
okay,
the
sorry.
amended agenda.
Okay.
Yeah. No, that's,
I was like, wow.
that would be a little weird.
Does anybody have any comments or questions on the minutes? I have a motion to approve the minutes.
A motion to approve the minutes from April 16th.
Awesome. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? Thank you. Financial report and action on bills. Copy.
No, these aren't the 100%.
That's the 8.
Supposed to be receipts for May, not April.
April.
Okay.
Yeah, we're always a month
That's
behind.
right, that's right. Did we get something big from West this month?
One line.
I'm sorry?
Did we get something big from West this
Yes,
month?
we get our pocket parts
Oh, part-time.
for the statues.
Wow, that's 2 months in a row where we had over $900 in adult books.
Yeah.
That's fine, Susan.
Oh, we do.
That's all I could.
Well, I did. Well, you
I'm
know.
sorry.
No, Phoebe.
I need a little brush. Okay, just keep in mind that it's a draft since we're a week early on our meetings. Since this is a draft, we'll table it for next month and then we'll approve everything when we have the final numbers. Program or guest speaker, the superintendent will be coming to next month's meeting, so they're interviewing principal candidates tonight. Do you have any correspondence?
As you know, we collected school products for the school at Birmingham, Monroe, was it Monroe School? And we gave them all to Anne Marie Stanko. So she wrote us, "Dear library staff, thank you very much for your generous book donation. Students of James Monroe Elementary School are very appreciative of all your generosity. Thank you for helping us rebuild our school library. Stanko family, James Monroe staff and students."
Very nice.
Then we got a nice letter, a nice little note again from Pat. Pat Butler, for Library Workers Day. Yes. Dear Susan and staff, just wanted to take a few minutes during this special National Library Week to thank you and your staff for the wonderful way you communicate the love of reading and friendship to each and every patron who visits our library. Thank you all for creating such a wonderful environment, which is the heart of Roselle. Many thanks, Pat Butler. That was very nice. Thank you. That's it.
President's report, just wanted to comment on the superintendent coming for next month. Pat is gonna talk a little bit about that in a minute. But I'd really love it if everybody could pull together some questions that we could send to him ahead of the meeting, so that way he can be prepared with information and we're not wasting time duplicating each other's questions. So I know we're gonna meet ahead of that meeting to pull that together. So if everybody, our next meeting is June 18th. So if everybody could get me questions by,
I was actually thinking, if we had a special committee appointed of people, perhaps we could draft the questions,
Okay.
and then as a group submit them to you. Do you know what I'm saying? As the generated questions from the committee, or
Okay.
ideas or suggestions. What do you think about that?
yeah, that sounds fine to me, but I was just thinking since we're so small already, to just maybe
Okay.
email, and then the three of us could meet, and
Okay, and maybe the children's librarian
I think that's
would be a
idea.
good person to have on board with this.
Yeah.
Sure, so we'll pick a date for that.
Okay.
And I just want to make one comment. We're really not going to be affected too much by this now because the libraries are going to be consolidated in with the computer room, so they will have a library. So I really don't see a big influx of use extra for our library, but, you know, it's something that you can discuss with them.
We're not a librarian.
Well, then he's asking for volunteers. Since people are so apt to want to, then people need to pitch in, right?
Yeah,
They
The
want
big
it.
thing is the measuring of that,
It's like
Pre and
volunteering to
post.
be a dentist.
Well, it's
because
the only way to keep it.
I'll
The
throw
thing-
myself on the fire, I
Go ahead, hire. Well, you teach and we'll learn.
guess. Yeah.
but
That's
the,
free to work.
but the concern I have, that I brought up at the last meeting too, is coming up with a means to measure it. It's all fine and dandy for someone to make a claim, whether it be the superintendent or a board member or someone here saying, oh, we have more kids using the library, they're asking us for more services. Okay, versus what? How do we know that? It's just a verbal claim, and
Right, just to ask him is fine, but I just don't think there's gonna be a huge influx of use extra in the library. We'll see how it is over this fall.
okay, but how do you measure that?
I'm,
I'm just throwing it out there.
I'm just saying that I don't foresee that being something.
Well, you could
occur.
say, right now, we know how many classes come to visit the library as a class.
Okay.
Right.
And then if the original proposal was the students would come here more often as a class,
Okay.
So not,
which they probably won't do now since they're not removing the library rooms.
Okay.
So we would know if we had 5 classes visit last year. I'm sure Ellen has some recollection at least of how many classes came to visit, and then, you know, make sure you keep track then this fall of how
Do we
many
have
classes.
that? Like, does she keep like a record of how she does? But maybe if you have that beforehand,
Mhm. Yeah.
that we could all share.
Just an idea with the committee that whether it's
Yeah.
all of us or some of us involved with the committee, It would really behoove of us, and I think Joe and I talked about this, just to revisit the strategic plan that Laura Hahn, she wrote this up in 2011, it was before I joined all of you. I reread it, it's excellent. I mean, you know it's excellent. But there are some key parts in here that might help us. And let me say, I have a lot of faith in our Board of Education. We have a great Board of Education. Tough decisions are really hard to make. And there might be some ideas here on how we can work here in the library and help the public library out a little bit. If everybody got a copy of this, because I don't know if you all have the strategic plan, and maybe
It's
if
on our
everybody
website.
could take a copy of this document that I pulled off the NJLA. It's a school public library joint use standards for the state. It's an excellent article if you haven't had a chance to read it. So if we could have those copies made maybe before we leave today so it could go to everyone.
Well, instead of making all those, because that's
I can actually
thick.
scan it to everybody. If you give it to
Yeah,
me, I'll
I
scan it and I'll
can send
return
you
it
the
to you.
link.
I just need a
I'll do-
copy for here because I don't have one
Okay.
home.
I'll scan it to everybody and I'll return it to you. Are you home tomorrow night?
Yeah.
I'll bring it to you tomorrow night?
Thank you much.
And it's on the NJLA website.
Yeah.
Okay.
And to make it easy for everybody, I'll just scan it through in the
That
morning.
sounds great.
Do it
Thank
first
you
thing
very
tomorrow.
much. Just so we have that, because I think those are important pieces.
And I got your email, Jen. I'll make sure I scan it to the right email.
Thank you,
Yeah.
again.
So, when do you want questions?
Let's get questions submitted.
Pat, did you already send, I'm sorry, Jen, did you already send it to us?
Send that to you.
Sent the joint letter, the joint standards?
I think Susan sent
I
it out.
sent it.
Oh, okay, all right, 'cause I have it.
So you might
Do
have
you
it
have it
already.
already?
Yeah.
Actually, you know
I
they do
I
have
sent
it.
it
All
out
right,
to
then.
everybody.
That's right.
Then we
And
don't-
as
right.
I'm getting,
And the
in my
strategic plan's
report,
on the website.
Yeah,
So,
So,
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Joe.
and I was just gonna say
I'll
that
put it in
in
my
my
folder.
report, I mentioned that anything I come across I think might be helpful, I will send to everybody.
um, how about questions by next Friday, the 23rd? Really gives us enough time to compile and meet and send them in and get answers we can sign to.
So we're going to meet on the 23rd?
No, let's meet the last week then, in May. We can figure out the day.
Okay, so all the questions go to you?
Yes, and
And then
email me the
okay.
questions by the 23rd, and then we can meet the next week to compile and go from there.
Will they continue to win the way they are now?
All right. Do you have anything else to add? No.
Oh, I don't have the, I don't have the.
Children's Department report?
Well, we're starting to put together our summer reading program. I did get the summer reading lists. And I was wondering if, there's quite a few new books on the summer reading list. And I know in previous years, the Board of Ed has kind of helped us out financially buying more books. We could bring that to the, I think last year they gave us $200 towards the books. So, I just didn't want to forget to mention that.
What, Susan, what's the what's the ballpark figure, the generalized purchase price?
We haven't even started looking yet, but I would say
No, but I mean, you say $500 at least?
that would be great, but, you know.
So how much is it, like for summer reading?
Well, it was 200 and something last year. No, it would, there.
No, I mean the cost to the library.
Oh,
summer
usually
reading.
there is no cost if we have the books. We
Okay,
keep using the
because
same
you
books, so
work
maybe
off a
we can.
list, but you're saying this year there's a lot of new books.
There are some new books,
Okay,
yes,
okay.
so that would be great. This would be great, I mean, if we could get that, but
Okay.
anything would be nice.
Can they just buy the books for us so we could have it?
No, because we get a good discount. from Bacon and Taylor. Last year wasn't a problem. What we did was we bought the books, I sent the invoices, and then they.
Oh,
and the
reimbursement?
invoices, yeah.
That's been standard policy all
Well,
along, or how did that come
no,
up?
we just mentioned it because they had changed some of the books, and we never thought to ask before. So we asked, and they said, yeah, sure. Okay, okay, so program attendance, 462 kids. As you can see, there's been quite a few different classes, different programs. Special programs with the school break duct tape. They made all kinds of accessories and jewelry. And the spring cooking for kids. Thank you, Jenny. Yes, I heard, and I saw the little pudding cups.
Yeah.
Very cute. She's still doing the one-on-one computer classes for people who want to learn basic internet and email skills. And she attended a Get With the Program, Revamp and Refresh Your Adult Programming Lineup webinar. And you know, this month and last month, we're probably one of the only libraries in Union County that have had a circulation increase. The circulation has increased by 7%, from 1,600 items in April to 1,711 items this month.
Bravo.
I think a lot of it is because of the schools. They have that 20-minute of reading, and people are really coming in and taking out books.
With the family literacy initiative. That's
Yeah,
great.
it's great. That's it. The rest.
Director's report.
Let's see. The adult circulation has also had an increase from 2,667 items last year to 2,732 this year. We issued 33 cards, and our DVD circulation went up. 326 DVDs were rented out this month, last month. Debbie is hosting family bingo nights, which is very successful, and we're going to continue that throughout the year. It was just a special, but so many people liked it that we're keeping it.
How many people attend that?
About 10, which is pretty good for us. We had Autism Awareness Month last month, and then we put up a big display, and we had a center from Roselle bring in adults and children to separate times, and we did craft, story time, that kind of thing. Wednesday afternoon is Lego Day. Thank you, Carl and Joel. They've been helping each other. And we have the 2 ESL classes still with Sister Ann and Anthony. The March of Dimes, the group regularly attends here every Wednesday morning, and Kit does either a movie or a craft or some kind of thing like that. Let's see, we still do Read to the Dog. Kit went to the Sherman School to read to the 2nd grade. We had a financial wellness seminar presented by Primerica. We're still doing the knitting, sewing, crochet, and lunchtime crochet programs. I had a luck meeting at the Vauxhall branch in Union, and the book group discussed garden sales, and Pat Butler facilitated if I couldn't make it. DPW removed the cigarette dispenser thing outside, which has always been a thorn on my side.
Good.
Yeah, so finally they took that away. One of our windows was shattered, I think, by not to the point where it's broken, but, you know, the shattered glass look.
Stained glass.
Like cracked, probably by a stray bulb. So Roselle Glass came to look at that, and I guess they're going to give DPW an estimate. Triad fixed the fire panel, and April 24th, I celebrated 10 years here at the Roselle Park Library.
Wow.
Wow.
I didn't know that.
The longest I've ever been anywhere. I like to be a moving target. Anyway, 10 years, yeah, I can't believe it.
Wow.
Anne Marie is.
So we've known each other for 10 years?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, and we haven't changed the.
We have. Done. Yeah, well, you really have it. You look the same.
Gain weight.
Well, Anne Marie Rudolph is back volunteering on Monday mornings. And April 15th, of course, as I did, was National Library Workers' Day, and the staff was treated to lunch by the Friends of the Library. And other treats were provided by Pat. We offered the patrons cookies and lemonade throughout the day. Some of the trustee issues, I handed out the Trustee Institute brochures. So it sounds like a good program, and I think.
I've registered
Yeah, she
already.
registered
You know what's interesting? If you're going, we're all, if I can follow it. We're, the first morning session is everyone has to attend those sessions. But the second part is an optional, so you can pick your session. So if there's more than one of us going, maybe we could decide which we're going to go to so that we get kind of a broad view of everything.
And I'm not sure if last time we approved the closing of the Library of 4 on Fridays. We've been doing that for the past 6 years, 7 years. And I just wanted to make sure that we're all on the same page with that. It's on our schedule, and it was on what I submitted as our
I
schedule.
think we put that in.
I think we did at the last meeting, I think.
Yeah,
the last
it was
meeting
approved
we
on
did.
the
We did
minutes.
approve it at the last meeting.
And
But you
we-
were not here, so you probably didn't know that.
Right, and I should have
Yeah,
written
we got it
this.
approved, this page 2 of the agenda.
Okay, thank you. And of course, the annual increase is still there. It needs to be addressed.
The
That's
budget
it.
bid? Yeah, was that budget bid adopted yet?
Yeah.
The municipal budget?
I don't know, do I?
No,
No, I mean,
no,
I think
Saul
that was,
says no.
No, the municipal
That
budget
was the,
wasn't adopted yet.
Not yet.
that was the prerequisite.
Yeah.
Thursday.
Thursday, this Thursday.
This week. it is.
Tomorrow.
Well, tomorrow they have a meeting.
That was
And since
the,
we're a week early. What
they
now?
were off.
Yeah.
We're off by a week. We did that on purpose.
Wait, why did we change the meeting tonight?
Joe,
It's on purpose. It's always Joe's fault.
Joe's fault now.
Let's blame somebody who's
We
in
have to
charge.
table it again. I think we have to table it then till June. Mary? Yes? I'm tired, I'm sorry.
Jenny.
Jenny?
And that's our last meeting then in June after we.
Yes, that was
Take the Mr. Garrido, that'll be the last one for the.
And then we should
So
be able to
soon-
approve it before the summer.
Yeah.
Right,
Since they
that's what
have
I'm
it all
kind of trying
prepared
to say.
for the June meeting, have whatever resolutions
Right.
needed for the June meeting ready to go. Assuming that the budget passes Thursday, then we'll be ready to adopt.
It's all ready.
It's okay. You could have called my mom too. Okay, report of the superintendent.
Well, you all know what's happening in the schools and that the elementaries are busy figuring out how they're gonna consolidate their to a media center with the computers and the books. They're still going to have book borrowing, but I think it's still a work in progress what exactly it's gonna look like, and I think Mr. Guido can address most of those concerns when you meet him next month. Robert Gordon was happy to report that they exceeded their 720,000 minute reading goal for the building. And they plan on holding a family literacy night in early June, date to be determined, where they'll also discuss their summer reading program. The middle school is hosting a book fair this week, the 12th to 15th, where the students are encouraged to purchase books, and of course they use the proceeds then to purchase books for their collection, their middle school collection. And also at the middle school, the teachers are being encouraged to add to their own classroom libraries, so the teachers are being very resourceful, and they're going to garage sales and the dollar store and whatnot to find additional titles for their collections, and they're open to ideas from the committee here of other ways, if anybody knows of books, free books that they can get to enhance their classroom collection, because it's always a great thing to have a comprehensive classroom library, especially trying to encourage nonfiction. So we really need to get more of that in the students' hands. The high school, the library is just always busy. Always. We have the new librarian that we hired to replace me has been doing a wonderful job. She's young and enthusiastic, and very up with technology. She's revitalized the book club and the creative writing club, so she's really reaching out to those students. She continued the tradition of having poetry live, which was one of my favorite things because April was National Poetry Month, so where we set up a stage and the students are encouraged to share either their original poetry or just a favorite poem, and we also get the language teachers, their kids come in and recite poetry in different languages, so special ed comes in. So we really try to make it a comprehensive school event, so that's always very, very popular. They had an International Cultural Day. Also, tomorrow night is the Festival of the Arts at the high school, if anybody's interested, where the chorus performs, and then all of the art teachers, including architecture, graphics, fine arts, painting, drawing, wood shop, all those students have their work on display in the library, so the parents and guests are encouraged to go down there and see what's happening. There's some really incredible things that the kids can do, especially in shop, because sometimes you don't know what's going on in there, but then when they bring the stuff out, it's really impressive. So, and we're moving forward with the renovation of the auditorium, which is much welcome and much needed. So we're going to start demolition on that, I think, the first week of June. So the facility will be closed then for a while. We're actually going to have our academic affair awards night at the middle school and use their facility.
So what's happening there?
Right now, I think they're focusing on the seats. They're going to take all the seats out, redo those, maybe the lighting, the flooring. Still no air conditioning yet. That's not quite in the budget, but it's a good first step. Because if you haven't been there in a while, you know, you take your life in your hands when you sit down in a seat in the dark. So
If I may ask, what are they doing with the old seats?
I don't know. That's a good question. When you have, I don't know whether the company then recycles them or reuses them in any way, but I know that we're going to try and do. I think the plan was for us to do some of the removal to save costs.
No, if you might auction them off, I might know some people that might be interested.
Um,
Or I don't know if you have some kind of relationship with the vendor that you get a trade-in value to it.
yeah, well, I'll inquire about that. But if you haven't been there lately, Joe, the seats are just in
Horrible.
terrible
I know.
shape.
I was
I don't know
donate
who
it.
would.
I have a seat with my name on it.
Oh.
I can't wait to see it.
Well,
a few years ago.
Right?
Yeah.
yeah, the backers have a couple of
Yeah.
seats too. So I know people are excited to see that happen, and I think it'll be great for our program and make us proud when people come to our school for events. So
Good.
we're excited about that. But
Yeah,
I
if you
will
could just find
inquire.
out,
Yes.
yeah, or email and.
Now, with the family literacy night, could the library have a presence there, you think?
Sure. I mean, I don't know exactly what their agenda is because
Yeah.
she wasn't more detailed than that.
I
when
don't
she
even
was
care,
there.
I mean, we don't have to say anything, we just set up a little table with our summer programs.
It's a very good idea.
Okay. I'm sure that that's Mrs. Kenny, Fran Kenny. I'm sure
Alright.
she's very
Yeah, she comes in all the
open.
time.
Yes. I'll reach out to her tomorrow.
Okay.
And I'll also touch base with the other elementary principals and see if they have something similar. I don't know if that's just each school does their independently or whether they have to do that, you know, they decide
Okay.
together. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, Andrew's not here. Do you have any reports from officers or standing committees? Reports of special committees? I'd like to make a motion to open the public portion of the meeting.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Any member of the public would like to speak?
Public?
Public portion.
Okay.
It's all you, Jake.
Jacob McGarrett, 6 Post, Sheridan Avenue, Roselle Park. I'm going to ask you folks to spend some money. Outside at the driveway, you have plaques, you have small American flags, and they're touching the ground.
I didn't put them there, I don't know who did.
Susan, besides the point, whoever put them there, no flag is, American flag is not supposed to touch the ground or touch anything. So if you can put a longer staff on it, and this way it won't touch the ground. To whoever, you probably know who put this.
I don't.
Jake, I put the flags by Bob Blair. I do that every year, so I'll replace them. By Bob Blair's. I will replace them. I'll get a longer staff.
Yes. Okay.
Sorry, I didn't notice that.
No problem. I just don't want to be the spendthrift here on this. Item number 132, telephone.
Well, Elizabeth, this is you.
Okay, so Michelle and Susan and I actually have CC'd Jenny.
Yeah.
I've sent everything to
I
her.
don't think she's ever gonna get back to us.
Well, the problem is that Verizon
Michelle,
has basically waived the money at the moment. They're not requiring us to pay anything because it's under investigation. But the person who's investigating it is taking a really long time doing it. And it's been like a struggle for poor Michelle and Susan.
but she hasn't even returned our emails.
No, she
in
hasn't.
a month
She hasn't
now.
returned mine either, so don't feel bad. So I don't know what we need to do at this point. Michelle's tried, we've tried, and this person's just, it's been a struggle, so we may have to get in touch with that person again.
The
Did you reach
government
out to
liaison?
the government? Yeah.
I did, and he gave us this person in Georgia who took our whole investigation in her wing, but she says she's so swamped by whatever investigation she has that it's just taken forever.
Do
But
you
she
remember
doesn't
the
even
person's name you
respond.
dealt with at the government?
Yeah,
side?
his name was Bill something. I have to go to the website again. I can tell you in a
If you
second.
just email it to me.
I'll find it. What was the name of the website again? Because I find it off the top of my head once you tell me. It was in New Jersey Municipal League?
Yes, I think so.
Yes.
Thank you.
The municipalities.
I can tell you in a minute.
Another woman, Anna Lustenberg, I used to deal with her from Verizon.
Yeah, we gotta go through the
Yeah.
whole thing again,
Okay.
oh my gosh.
Right, and I'd rather not have to start all over again because it's been
It's so
going on for
confusing.
months, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
If we
So-
tell,
and
if
I'm
we tell them
involved
we're
in it.
just not paying them, that'll get them to do something.
Well,
But we're not paying them anyway.
we're not paying,
Well, but I
and
mean-
they put a hold on it and they said they're
Never.
not shutting off
Yeah.
our service.
That'll get them
Do you have
to
a
talk
case
to us.
number or something?
She has everything.
Can you just email me, just like, if I can find Ann's info, I'll try to send it to her. But if I give her a case number, make the process
Well,
much easier.
Elizabeth and I have everything, right?
Yeah,
You can
it's, I
send
have
it all
an
to
email,
her.
I can email you tomorrow.
Whatever.
We have
I have every single
thing.
email. And, you know, I call this girl at different hours, sometimes I get her, sometimes I don't, and I'm like, same with them. It's like, crapshoot. We
The
just like,
positive is that,
it's the longest investigation I've ever seen. I work for a very large corporation. I've never seen an investigation maybe take 3 or 4 months at the most. This is what, 6 months now? Yeah.
And
I get the feeling she's not investigating.
I don't
Well,
think so.
I think she's just putting it to the side 'cause she's got, from what I talked to her, one person who with all these huge investigations, like for municipalities, so we're obviously the only one having this issue, like nationwide.
oh,
So it's
That's interesting.
obviously a nationwide issue, it's not just New Jersey, so. And that, it sounds like they just have like one person working on everything for the government, so I'm like, but, yeah, it's ridiculous. Let me see if I can find the guy.
well, even if it's not.
Bill Dressel, actually
Oh,
the executive director.
Yeah, you want the, and
That's-
did he
that's-
give you a Verizon person
He actually got her to call me the very next day,
for the investigator?
yes.
Who's the investigator?
Cheryl
Parkinson.
Parkinson, it's at work, I don't know here.
And she's ignoring us the past
Yeah.
month.
All right, if you could just email so I don't forget to,
Yeah, I'll email you tomorrow.
that'd be helpful.
And I know I've been sending copies to Jenny
Yeah, yeah.
too, so she's aware of it.
So I can say, oh, where's that?
Yeah, every time she sees it.
When there's no progress.
But yeah, I try her at different hours. Like one time I called her at 7:30 in the morning when I got to work early, and I got her. I was like, ha I got you.
Obviously, she doesn't have caller ID.
I think she works from home.
Yes,
to tell
I
you the
spoke to
truth.
her, her dog was barking. She
Yeah. So
Yes.
Signal.
Yes.
I'm like, I want your job. Just sit there and nobody does anything. But yeah, I'll send it to you tomorrow too. It's all in my work email, which I don't carry.
But going forward, we're not gonna get billed, right?
Anna left.
Well, we're gonna get billed for something.
My contact no longer
We haven't
works.
been
Do you
paying
want Bill
anything.
Just found out
Dressel?
LinkedIn. Yeah, send me
I
the
know.
bill.
Well, it's about 3,000
It's not
right
like we
now.
haven't been trying.
And I suggested we just put a hold on that account and start a whole brand new government account. And she wouldn't even,
No, but Michelle,
research that for now.
isn't the municipality now covering our telephone costs as of a certain date?
Not for this.
Not, we have, I think
Is
there's
that
one or
because of
two
a computer
alarm
line?
systems on it.
We have
And the
different-
The
fax?
wireless, the fax, there's
Okay.
still a few lines that we need to keep through Verizon.
It's $3,000?
It's a
Wow.
year.
Oh, it's a
Yeah.
We
year's
haven't
worth.
paid them in a
been
year.
It's been
around
kind of
for
been
a
on
long
hold,
time.
and she made sure that they didn't turn us off,
We've
but,
been talking about this for several meetings.
yeah. We've been working on this since the beginning of the year, right?
This is the, yes, the never-ending story.
Well,
Never
thank
heard
God
Verizon
that you
story.
guys are following through on everything, Liz.
Well,
Michelle's
Michelle's working her butt
Michelle,
off.
yeah.
Really.
Michelle is really.
I even
working
agreed
big.
on a price instead of like the 300 a month, like 149, which is what we were offered a while ago. And she was gonna check into that, and she never got back to me on that either. Because I thought that was a fair price to pay every month for the past
Yeah.
year. That was fair.
Now they're
Because of
getting
the-
nothing.
Now nothing, I'm begging her
But
to
we
acknowledge
never
our
s-
emails.
Wait. We never drew up a contract with them, did we? You're saying $149 a month. Is that an
It
agreed
was a
upon?
verbal contract that I had with a Verizon representative, and she was able to find him, and then it never went any further.
But were we ever billed, we gotta check the form. Were we ever billed the $149 previously?
No.
Oh, we never were.
And that was what she said, he was probably just trying to get business and never mailed a form. She said, it's never just a verbal, you don't have to sign anything, but something should have been mailed to us. I didn't know that. He didn't tell me that, he just said, all right, we'll do the 149 a month, or whatever the amount was, 143.
And you know what it's like dealing with Verizon.
Mhm.
You want
Oh,
to shoot
there.
yourself.
Forget it, it's a quagmire.
But I have every representative in the past year that I ever spoke to.
We just don't wanna start all over since
We don't wanna start all over.
Sure.
Mm.
But there's got to be somebody above her that we could go to and say, listen, she's
Well,
not returning our call.
Maybe Joe can contact Bill and say, look, I'll send you the emails who she is.
Yeah,
and then
just
we can
look
let
up
him-
Anna Lustenberg, used to be the government rep for Verizon. I just checked her on LinkedIn and she's now working at the YMCA in Princeton. So I'm actually emailing her now saying, congratulations, Glenn, who took your job?
Hey, you know what? Check our lady. Maybe she's there somewhere else too.
Yeah. It's true.
She's like, I quit. Nobody ever calls you.
ShopRite.
They didn't cut off, they didn't cut off your service though.
No.
They
She made-
threatened to about,
Well, didn't they, somebody cut us off and I had to pay. What happened with my credit
that
card?
was Comcast, because the
Comcast.
check got lost in
The check got lost in the
Oh,
mail.
that was that one.
And they
That
just
was horrible.
don't wanna hear it, they just cut you off if they don't get
I
paid.
said, we've been your client for how many years?
Never late.
It's terrible for a life.
And they make plenty of money on this town, Comcast.
Both of them.
Yeah.
All right, Michelle, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
All right.
Michelle.
Okay.
Any further comments from the public?
And one last question to the director. I'm looking at the Raritan Valley Rail Coalition. Is there an explanation? I know Saul had a write-up in the Rosa Park News in reference to that. If someone comes in and says, what is Raritan Valley Rail
We
Coalition?
showed them the article
What's the article?
from Saul.
No,
Good.
this is the library.
No, but we show articles here. That's what the library does. We don't have a book on that. We show the library or news reports or what's been written about on the, I think the municipal page has something on that.
The Rosa Park News. But if I came in off the street and I said, look, what is that about? And what would you tell me?
I would say, I'll show you. I'd say we'd go to that website,
What website?
raritanvalley.com, and we'd look it up. One seat ride.
And do you know that they are doing that, starting it again? Is that correct, Mr. Kirsten?
I think it has to do with books. I don't think this has to do with books.
Far as I know, the one-seat ride started off-peak a couple of weeks ago.
think
Once
it
I
started
started
on
on March 3rd,
Well,
2014.
whatever, but it was.
And they're gonna be,
upbeat,
in November, they're gonna be doing evenings.
And they're talking about adding to it, but they started out just doing off-peak.
Yes.
Is there any history that you would have on that website?
Yes.
Well, yeah, there's a lot of history on the website. We don't have to know everything. We just have to know where to find it.
Right.
That's what a library does.
I learned a long time ago, that's what an intelligent person does. You don't have to know everything, you just have to know where to find it.
Exactly.
Especially a library.
That's right.
Yes, thank you.
Very well said. I appreciate the devil's advocate. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to close the public portion.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstentions? Old business, we are tabling salary increments for the next meeting upon approval of the municipal budget.
I have old business. Does that speak? Was it mentioned earlier something about pocket parks money for outside? Did I miss that, or did I hear that? Am I
No,
hearing that?
pocket parts for
Oh,
the,
parts.
for the book.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
for the
pocket
wall
parks.
books, yeah.
Sorry.
No, pocket, she asked why it was so,
Why we had a
high.
big charge from
Yeah.
West.
Which made me think
From
about
West.
if there was any funding to help renovate the outside.
Well, I think it's been passed, right? They're gonna put a sprinkler system in? I
Yeah.
don't know when.
Yeah, Andrew had outlined it last time, but
Right, it just made me think because there was county money, I know years ago that gave money to renovation of parks. And Green Acres just announced another round of grant funding for 25% of grant funds towards renovation of parks, park development. And Roselle Park's considered there's this phrase, I can't think of it, but because we're densely populated, we would get grant money. So one idea would be if you were to, not you per se, but if the town would apply for Green Acres funds to fund that, it will give a 25% cash match. You can add the costs that were already due for the sprinklers to make up the other 75%. And then if you can get some county money, give them every other 75%. So just FYI.
Pass it on to Maureen. No,
Just tell me who to pass it on to, I'll pass it, because we're looking for it in our town, but we're not considered a densely populated municipality, but in the list of towns, they had Roselle Park listed as an eligible grant town.
Just have another old business question. The handicap compliant doors? How are we moving on that?
Barb, didn't Andrew tell us last time that the money's in the current
Oh,
budget?
They did come?
Yeah.
Try to figure out if the door should swing out or in.
Okay.
I think they've basically decided it's gotta be.
It's gotta be out or in, it can't be too much.
Because there are two doors and the angle.
Yeah.
The inside door was gonna remain like the swing
Yeah.
door, and the outside was gonna be the.
I was just reminded about it this past week, because when I came to the library to borrow a book, a gentleman who was a former soldier with the Veterans Library came in a wheelchair. It was so
Daniel.
hard, yes, for him, and I was there and I saw him and I felt so terrible. He could not get in the door. It was really hard for him. And he is one of our frequent borrowers. And with things that's, our population changing needs, and also with needs for our schools perhaps more, we're going to get many types of people.
We
So I
have,
hope it goes through soon.
we have quite a few people in wheelchairs who find it hard to maneuver. Yeah, so I hope it works out pretty quickly.
I'll follow up with Andrew this week and see if he can send us any updates on that.
One question, Susan, are you still doing the quotes from different companies regarding the panic button and everything like that?
I haven't this month. I have 2 different quotes. And I was waiting for the guy who, I don't remember his name, who works for the town. He was gonna talk to the police officer, police chief, and we were gonna talk. I haven't followed up. I will though, by June.
Yes.
I'll have it all settled.
Summer's coming in.
Yeah, we might be more in a panic.
Yeah.
Okay, do we have any new business? next meeting date is June 18th.
Everybody's schedule's good?
My schedule's clear.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, I just wanted to thank you in working with the borough clerk to get this ethics financial form taken care of.
Absolutely nothing to do with that,
Well-
but you're welcome.
But, I mean,
was just a
this
surprise
thing
to
was
get
like
in the mail.
a saga. I mean, and the state made more out of it than it should,
So
but I
now what are
thought,
we doing? Are we going online to do it?
Yeah.
yeah, you have to do it
Yes.
online. I finally was
Yeah,
able to do
everybody-
it
You have to
today.
figure out the instructions,
And then you have to save each segment.
Yeah, but you all should have gotten
Well, we
that
don't
email.
use password from the
well,
town.
it's a pin, and you
Yes, but
basically
you got it.
create
It's your
your own
email. Your
password.
username is your email, and you gotta
And
create
then
You
a
have
there's
to
the
create your own
pin you're gonna
password.
get from the town.
Yeah.
It came in the letter.
It's
Doreen
the
sent-
number.
I didn't get a letter.
Email Doreen.
We got
She's so helpful.
Yeah, she is. All she said was a one-page email to me with my name and my PIN. I had to go in and figure out
Can
how
I
to do
use
it.
somebody else's pen?
And the thing is, you could print it
Yeah.
out. The good thing about this is that you could print it out at the end, with
Right.
the confirmation
Yeah,
number, so
yeah,
that's
And then
what's
you
cool.
can print everything out.
Email her.
And you have
But you
time, it
give
doesn't
her
have to
again.
be until
She's
June
required to
13th.
give it to me whether
Yeah.
she likes
They're
it or
giving
not.
us an extension.
And then you
I'll
get
email it
penalized
for you.
$100.
Susan doesn't have a
Who
pen.
knows?
Thank you,
I'll email her.
Liz. Not that I'm afraid of her or anything.
She knows Saul, so I'll
I
email
don't
her.
want
I
to
don't
do
know.
controversy with her. To get
But
involved.
you are on the board, you are on the board, so I don't know if you...
I'm not on the board.
No, but she's technically on the board, so I don't know if she gets this or not.
I've never gotten any kind, I
As a
never.
liaison, I
But she
don't
already
know.
knows
Yeah,
one
because she's the
school.
liaison.
Do you do a financial disclosure form to the
Yes.
school?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So you're
Then you
good.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything, because I do one for the school separate from this. That doesn't mean anything. You gotta find out if you need to file.
When you, Liz, when you find
Actually,
out
the
for
superintendent does.
Susan,
Yeah.
can you ask about the school rep?
Maybe he doesn't, and because we change, so,
Right, you changed.
you know what I mean?
the law.
You're gonna have
I'll ask him.
Yeah, what happens with the new initiative, the new ethics financial disclosure program, you'll get a PIN number from the organization that you are required to fill one out. So the school would have their PIN number. Here, you would get your PIN number from the clerk's office. So if you're gonna email about Susan, can you email if the school rep needs to also have a PIN? Because she's a voting member technically, so she might be required to have one. What happens when you enter in the PIN, it just merges both. It's actually ridiculously easy once you figure it out.
But
Yeah,
I'm not a
it
voting
is
member.
easy once
I'm
you
not
get
really on the
past
board.
the password
Right.
part.
Okay?
I'm not really on the board.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
yeah, like in my position as administrator,
I've done it every year.
at Manasquan, I have a PIN because I sit in that position. I'm not sure if your position requires it, but it might as a director.
I've done it
I don't know.
every year.
You have. Well, then let's do it again this year.
So easy.
Yeah, but
I have
if,
fun.
once you get past the PIN, it's actually not really not bad. Because what's gonna happen is every year, the stuff will still be there, they'll just be able to update it.
Ah,
You don't have to retype or read the handwriting.
Just have to remember to save it somewhere.
Yes.
You have
So
to-
they're not gonna remember next year.
Save it, and then print.
Make a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All in favor?
Okay.
All opposed? Abstentions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Carol, beat you to it.
I was